it has an effect on the water system.
Yeah. For the cold water, you can affect the hot water,
Hello.
but for the hot
Hello,
water,
please.
I remember being in Dubai and like sweating. Like I walked out and it was just sweat. And I've never experienced anything like that.
Okay, I think it's a small audience today, and it's quite warm as well. So I make an early start because there's a lot of rehearsal before we come a little bit to kind of innovation and what's available to you. I've as well just been to a slightly strange conference, but no, I shouldn't really complain. But I've been at the Visionary Future of Construction and Engineering Industry conference. And I thought they would be a little bit more provocative about collaborative technologies, but they weren't actually. So they're actually quite conservative. Who would have thought? Okay, so here's the talk about collaborative technologies. And I really want to kind of, wait a minute, before we go in the real definitions, what do you understand under this, collaborative technologies? What is this for you? I take guesses. Like very personal accounts as well. Do you not collaborate in weather like that on the weekend at least? To dine together with a barbecue? No, nobody does that? Okay, what do you use for coordination of this collaborative
like
effort?
phones?
Yeah,
Like
okay.
text message phones?
Yeah.
Telephone calls? Emails? Well, not for a barbecue, but...
Can do business through technology, means can use technology as part of collaborative business.
Yeah,
means I can do business even I am out of country, can do business between two worlds, means or between the two regions.
Yeah, so it's devices that give us different information, and we can exchange data over distance, so we don't have to be in the same room. So traditionally, again, it's the old joke, like walking over to the neighbor's door or to your friend's house, ringing the bell, he would open the door and he would be there. Hello, please join us. So in a way, the collaborative technology would be actually going there and meeting them. Yeah? But now we have kind of new stuff, and this is what we want to get our head around. I was interested in the mobile device. Do you track as well where your friends are? Like for example, I've noticed on Facebook or Viber or chat, you sometimes get a geotag. So did you look at that? No? Okay, some not, yeah. So it's as well a control device. When he says like, I'm 5 minutes from your house, and he's still like 1 hour away, like, okay, this is data and a wishful thinking. Yeah, okay, but yeah, nonetheless. So we can as well control with a lot of devices accuracy, of the information that we actually receive, or often data. Yeah? But okay. Now, a danger with communication technology is always assuming that this solves all kind of problems with communication itself. And that is, of course, not the case. Because communication is normally between people, and we revisited this once we get a little bit deeper into this. So there's a danger, basically, with communication is, the danger with communication is that we think that it has happened. So you say something to somebody, the question is as well, have they actually understood what you intended to tell them? And vice versa? Does that make sense? I have more wonderful quotes to come, actually. Okay, so the hard definitions, and I kind of have taken here a lot of stuff because Michelle, my colleague, and we have written a paper on this. So it's not yet published, but so basically I've just chipped the definitions from there. So collaborative technology itself is impacting, of course, on working practice across organizational boundaries, and here we took the construction industry, but this is still generic at that point. So evidence is mounting that the individual by himself, or indeed the organization, and even the polity by itself, cannot meet the demands of these more complex environments. A greater pooling of resources is required, more sharing, more trust. Now this whole quote, and this is from 1976, this is an interesting thing. So all the hot topics like agile manufacturing and as well collaborative technologies that we're using now were kind of invented in the 60s and 80s. So if you want to see the roots and the ideas behind it, it's actually worth reading old literature in that sense. Yeah, but the key here is pooling of resources is required, and more sharing and more trust. Now, quick question: the industry or your work experience where you have worked, do you trust the team you are working with in your project environment? Hello.
Hello.
Please join us. Do you trust your other companies around you?
Kind of have to, don't you?
Okay, and how far would you, okay, so this was, unfortunately we did have to, we had to go back home after work so where do you see trust, the blind trust? You say like, you do your thing, I do my thing.
That in itself is trust, isn't it? Putting trust in somebody to ensure, make sure that they hold their end of the bargain.
Okay, so there are already bargains. So you have written it down before that it's clear what everybody is doing. Yeah. In student projects, this is normally the first thing. There is a trust. You work in a project. You split the pieces like very clear cut up, rather a little bit less coherent than too coherent or too overlapping. Yeah, and then you kind of go away and do it and put it all together, and then when you read it the first time, you realize the disconnect, and the quality is not consistent, and then there's frustration. Yeah. Well, in many, so traditionally, what we have done is we have created a design, and we bidded it out. So we measured actually the performance. So we had very clear criteria. We didn't trust them too much. So instead, we actually came up with a very clear criteria that we would actually monitor and control them on. Yeah. So this is a problem for our collaborative technologies. You can use it as well like that, and I will show you the newer ones have actually developed more in that direction. Yeah. Now, when we come to defining collaboration, we had that already at the beginning, so it's a little bit a rehearsal. It's a process through which parties who sees different aspects of a problem can constructively explore their differences and search for solutions that go beyond their own limited vision of what is possible. And aside of that, if you look when it actually occurs, we had that as well kind of at the beginning of the lectures, collaboration occurs when a group of autonomous stakeholders of a problem domain engage in an interactive process using shared rules, norms, structures to act or decide on issues related to that domain. At that point, you still see that, well, where's the technology here? Is there technology in that part? What do you think? Interactive processes, what could that be?
It's just interaction between two parties.
Yeah. Now those are technically technologies too. Yeah, a meeting, so coming together to share ideas is traditional technology. Yeah, it's it gets ambiguous, but if you look at the semantic, you will see the definition is basically very much stretched. But I mean, the idea is the same. So this is basically the platform. Now we use devices. Yeah? So we had the mobile there with different apps that do as well geodata, or we have as well Skype. You name it. There are lots. I don't want to go into much detail in that. Yeah? But as well the rules and norms. So we have as well techniques or models that we're using with rules to actually kind of evaluate the data and information we're getting. And we come to that again in a second in a little bit more detail. Now, when you actually look at collaborative technologies, and I hinted at it already, it really comes kind of from the 1960s. It was the augmenting human intellect. Well, what does augmenting mean? Does anybody know? Augmented reality? Has anybody glasses on or something like that? Has anybody experienced augmented reality?
augmented is that not heightened. It's more sensitive. It's sort of a better refinement of whatever it is, of human intellect or whatever it is, augmenting something, it's adding to it.
You bring it out. So, for example, if you're in the night, infrared glasses would be a typical element. It brings out shading that makes it more visible for your sense of eyes, for seeing. Sorry, the sense of seeing. Is that right in English? Yeah, see it. Yeah. So, augmenting human intellect was really the idea that you use technologies to make it more accessible to your awareness, simplified. And this came really from Engelbart's, Douglas Engelbart's, and it's actually frightening. I have as well on the feed videos to it. There's a YouTube video from the 60s, and it's pretty much better probably than our applications nowadays with Word or as well. They worked already with big data. So you could interact with a video in your Word document. There was writing, you had drawings, you could interlink properties to it. And so it's pretty impressive actually what they did in the 60s. Did take eventually off, so it took a while. I mean in the 80s it was the internet. And if you look at CERN, you will see that they have already the Internet of Things that I will try to promote in a second. But okay, collaborative technologies, CTs nowadays, if you want to search it keywords-wise, is support collaboration among individuals and groups by facilitating their communication and interactions for the purpose of improving knowledge sharing and group decision-making tasks. And this is again more recent. We come to the future more or less with those definitions. But it's an old topic, but we haven't widely applied it. This is very important to kind of maybe be aware of. Yeah, you probably do that already. Yeah, I don't know about you, but if you have like wonderful day like this and you do activities, you probably tell your friends about it. Yeah, so it's a narrative. So it's a lot softer forms. But on a more on another way, if you have new technologies or devices, you may share it with your colleagues to implement it. And again, we can use here different formats to do so. Okay, so current stepping stones, there are a lot, and here I'm picking on the construction industry because we wrote a paper for it. And does anybody know what BIM stands for?
Business information, no, building information management.
Yeah, but it could be as well that. So you are spot on, yeah? So it stands for Building Information Modeling or Management, but it is really an information management system. Yeah, so in other industries we have named it differently. In automotive, actually we have already augmented models that work together with information systems. Yeah, so it's a lot bigger if you want. Oh no, I shouldn't start the terminology with bigger. That gets terribly wrong. But okay, so current stepping stones, mainly for industries, project industries, is the procedural and cultural shift that is as well determining interorganizational working relationships and communications. This is why we are covering this under collaboration. You need to you basically lay the cards on the table. It works best if you kind of work with collaborative technologies or an integrated model, if you actually are transparent. Yeah? And then you can plan as well in detail. Now, however, despite BIM's intention to facilitate collaboration in a heterogeneous environment, the different perspectives attributes to the attitudes and beliefs of diverse professions has yet to break down in the inherent barriers of associated with that are associated with the industry.
What does that word heterogeneous mean? I've come across it before, I still don't know things.
What does heterogeneous mean? What is the opposite? Does anybody know the duality?
Homogeneous.
Yeah. So homogene group, what would that be? If we take animals.
Just a single species.
Yeah, just cats. Yeah, for example. But if you cats and dogs, a cat, a dog, a turtle, a bird, then it's homogeneous. Yeah, does that make sense?
No.
I mean, it depends as well the category you're looking at. Yeah, but they have. I mean, in this a particular aspect is we have professionalized it and have like very narrow skill sets that kind of hinder the collaboration.
So I think Melbourne mentions heterogeneous in his book. I think he's talking about the variety of types of people in a team. So
Yeah.
hetero being singular and then homogeneous being
Yeah.
variety. Would it? Well,
Yeah, well, yeah. You have a diversity. Is
Yeah.
a different word. You're spot on. Yeah. Okay, let's settle in. So the collaboration technology, collaboration technology implies first of all that you have shared medium of sharing information. Here we are referring already to knowledge. That is a lot worse. So here what you are saying has to be understood by the other person too. Actually, I'll come to that chestnut in a second. Yeah. But the next step is as well that you have to be willing to share your knowledge. You have to be aware of your role, how you can contribute to the team. And that means you have to kind of come together and look together at the problem with an honest mind of learning. Not so much of a clear-cut sales pitch. Yeah, this is a product we have. This is very efficiently done, but not so effective maybe in the team. Yeah, what we are trying to achieve. Yeah? And that's a tough bit. This is where information models can enable you to do so, but it means as well you have to create a culture of sharing. Yeah? And this is exactly where the beliefs and attitudes, particularly in the construction industry, so this is why I was a little bit heartbroken. I was last week in London. In Westminster, the Cabinet Office has a task group for BIM and big data to promote the future of construction. And then you have big companies, shall I name names? One was TNT, yeah, and they made the statements like, yeah, well, we see applications in some cases, but we are not so much into the collaborative side. And you just think like, oh my gosh, okay, this is bad. So it means they like the supply chain, how it is at the moment. Yeah, it means they're bidding out and they haven't got the detailed planning yet. Detailed planning means as well commitment to the operational side. And that means as well that the subcontractors can then make their prices. I mean, it's a very linear game then because it's all in the model. So materials can be transparently priced, working costs are transparently priced, and the profit is as well transparently priced. So that freaks a lot of companies out at the moment.
And that's called open book accounting, isn't it?
Yeah, we had that before in the past, and there was a horrendous case in I think it was Sunderland, right? Gen 2 emerged, or I know, but it's a wonderful case study how it can go wrong. There was as well open book pricing, and the council had used like a variety of contractors, and they really went for it and worked really well until the council decided to start their own privatized construction unit, which meant Gen 2 was competitor to the previous shared book companies. So that was perceived very sour in the northeast. Yeah, but did you have experience with that too, or?
No, just and it's one of the theories in supply chain management.
Yeah, absolutely.
Book accounting.
Yeah.
Trust and collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from a supply chain perspective, this is an integrated model. But not so much for supply chain as in competing all the time, but more for integrated project delivery. This is as well a keyword that you would find under this. If you read, well, I give you the keywords in a second. So it's a big thing, and at the moment, this means we have to reshuffle. A good example, maybe from the conference, I picked now one company that was not so pro big data, and there will be soon. I'm pretty sure about that. A very good example was Langeroog. So they work now with tech companies that have replaced a lot of the supply chain, and they have an integrated project delivery. So they do already a lot with, not so much automation, but they embrace new technology, and it makes sense if you do it that way. If you have a supply chain that you commit to, then you can as well invest in trying new technologies out and making it work. So it's an effective new way of doing. Yeah, and they are very competitive. Langeroog, I can tell you that too. Both works. Okay. Yeah, sorry, that was the communication bit that was missing. So I've kind of given you the definition here from the dictionary. So communication, to do something, knowledge or information, common is a key notion here, and therefore constitutes communication not so much of what I say. Yeah, so if I say something, I'm not necessarily communicating. Particularly if I use all the acronyms that I just used, yeah, they have to make sense to you too. Otherwise, well, I'm just talking. It's not so much communication. So, but it's what you hear. The responsibility of correct understanding is on the communicating part side. So if I'm communicating, I have to make sure that you kind of understand what I'm saying. And if not, you have to raise your arm and bully me and say like, hey Robert, we don't know what you're talking about. This is crazy. Repeat. Yeah. So this would be one way. This is not so fine. No, actually, that was a bad example. But okay, never mind. Yeah. So you would ask me hopefully questions. Yeah. So communication is an active process between two or more willing participants. That's why willingness. And the problem that I identified before, some professions are not so willing to listen to what, for example, the facility engineer or manager has in mind with the building to be. In the car, when the designer tells you of the newest design, of the beautiful finishing made of mahogany that can go in the car, you can see quite often that the designer of the engine kind of falls asleep. So this is a bad way of communicating that. You want the whole team to buy into it. Yeah? And well, all this complicatedness was best summarized. Now, actually, this guy has stolen it, but he had it in a picture, so I've just stolen it from him. But I remember that Greenspan actually said that, and he said this in the official hearing where he had to justify the deficit of the Federal Reserve of America, and he had this questioning from the judge. And she was quite fierce with him. She was not happy with what he had said. And so she gave him a long list, what she understood he said. And he then said this wonderful quote: I know you believe you understand what you think I said, but I'm not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant. So this is, this is the whole dilemma of communication. Yeah. So this is a warning sign behind the collaborative technologies. Just having a smart system, and we have some, so I tell you a little bit about my creepy mobile. My mobile, when I pick it up, there's a camera checking if it's my face. If you have a little eye sign on your mobile, check it out and look it up. You can set it up to actually lock it if it's not your face. Yeah? It does as well the geotag automatically. Even if you don't have the GPS on, by just the rooming in the local network points, you can geo-track basically your whole history if you want. So we have already extremely sophisticated devices that can tell us if somebody's attending to our piece of information that we try to communicate. But even looking, yeah, this is a chestnut that is there. Doesn't mean you have understood it. Yeah. Does that make sense? So this is important, yeah, for particularly the learning. Are you still with me, or is that too much? So I mean, I'm just picking here on my mobile. To be fair, we have a lot more sophisticated technologies and all kinds of. Does anybody have a car that is younger? No, wait, younger than 5 years? Yeah. Yeah. So you too. Can I ask Brand roughly?
Mini.
Oh yeah, okay. You have all the technologies. Did you have as well weather warning?
Yeah.
Does it tell you if there's frost on the road? Yeah. So you can do cool stuff. This is collaborative technology, informing you to drive more responsible or optimum speed, depending on how you interpret it. Yeah. to the road surface. Yeah. So this is what we can do with collaborative technology, and we can bring information that are relevant to us up to the front, but we have to understand them too. So this is a challenging thing. Any question at that point? Everybody's still looking a little bit puzzled. Okay, so okay, they are a little bit further by years, and I don't want to talk too much about it. But okay, there's deeply embedded disciplinary thinking that is not so easily overcome by digital representations of knowledge. Yeah, so we, I don't know if you have used with visual models. It's often not the real thing. Yeah, it's beautiful drawings of lines. And it kind of looks a little bit like it, and I have as well, my initial education was engineering upbringing, and you naturally fall in the trap of associating things with it, but it's abstract. Yeah, so this is very important to realize. So it's an abstract representation, and not everybody can read it like you may be able to read it, or as you may not be able to read it. Yeah, so this is important to realize.
So really, that first bullet point is not very good communication, is it? I've had to read it twice and I'm still not exactly sure what it means.
Oh, I see. It's again a quote out of a paper.
Oh,
so I should probably have broken it down. So the in our disciplines we are trained to think a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's where on a project manager, what are you looking first for in a project? If you're the project manager, naturally, somebody asks you, how's your project going?
Cost of time.
Yeah, cost of time. Okay, this is not bad. Yeah. And anything else? For us, it was always quality as well, because otherwise we could rip it down and start again. So, but okay, yeah. So those are the baselines. Yeah, of you may have a project where time is not so important, and it's more about how much money you are spending. Yeah. Or maybe money is not an issue either. It's just like what the client wants. Yeah. It's like a painting. Yeah. So something like that. Yeah. So and the key is we basically come with our biases of how we are communicating, how we are preparing, yeah. And an information management system has to kind of provide the translation of that piece of information. Does that make sense? So as a project manager, if you are saying, are we on time with this piece of work? And the engineer says like, yes, it's amazing, I have it here in the drawings, we just have to build it. It looks really promising. What does that tell you as a project manager? Does that give you confidence? Yeah. Yeah, probably, yeah. But if the manufacturing team is panicking over the design now, yeah, then so the whole point is you get only so far. So you have to look at it systematically, and it's a critical path thing, right? So you have to kind of look at the interconnections. So from the engineering point, we have a design, this is brilliant. So then we can look basically at how it relates, and that gives us information as a project manager. As a client, it doesn't tell us so much. Is it really the thing I want? Does it feel, and is it really the thing that is what I'm after? Yeah. Is the house airtight or not? Yeah, things like that. I pick here again on the construction industry, I don't know why, but okay. The key is as well to realize is that there are implicit distinctions, and with this come as well team member skills, and with it the organizational status. Yeah? And this is a determining thing. So as a team you have to collaborate, and you have to be curious to learn about the other disciplines as well, if you really want to collaborate successfully. Yeah. So there's another one, resistant of the implementation, and the challenges, particularly in construction companies, face is further fueled by lack of understanding and the perceived lack of resources. So many people get alienated at this point, and to be fair, this was a very conceptual talk so far. So there's a certain danger you will be as well alienated. But if you look at it from a social interaction point and working practice, there are two collaborative technologies that really come to mind. Again, here a little bit terminology. So one is an asynchronous collaborative technology, which allows the sharing of ideas in participants' own time and is accessible to others when they are available. What would that be? Have you used any like that? Asynchronous collaborative technologies? Probably. I would say probably most likely. Has anybody worked with Dropbox or Google Docs or on a discussion thread? How did that go? Well,
Google Docs is terrible.
what?
Like Google Drive,
Yeah.
is terrible.
Why? Well, what happened?
Because it reformats everything from Word, and you have to go back and reformat it back. It's terrible design. I think they really need to rethink it.
Okay, so interface from, so you are already advanced, yeah? I was just thinking of one platform, but so Docs, Google
Drive.
Docs with Microsoft Word, not a good combination.
I don't know about Google Docs, but Google Drive, where you can sort of work together in a team, and somebody can change it while you're changing different parts of it, and
Yeah,
you can work on it. Terrible.
yeah.
And the concept of it is really good,
Yeah.
but the actual implementation is not so good.
Oh, I'm
I'd
heartbroken.
tell Google next time you go down.
Okay, I will. But this is heartbreaking. I thought high things from Google Docs. I use it as well with my colleagues in Sweden, and it does work. It's just terrifying if you have written something and somebody else deletes your part that you're just writing. No. But so this is more personal account. Yeah, that is where communication is lost. But I didn't realize with the formatting so much. But okay.
It's just when you move it to Word, it's all of the bullet points and stuff just totally change.
So is this copying over?
Yeah, or vice versa. You know, copying
You do know
to
you
Drive
can
or-
extract it.
Yeah, but it just seems to. We did it in first strategic management, the first one, and it just was a nightmare.
Didn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but that is a typical one. Yeah. So okay, you can actually synchronously collaborate as well. So the asynchronous element is kind of very brief. So when somebody writes, it's actually blocked, and then it uploads kind of instantly. So it's kind of very quick. But other technologies? Anything else? Did you actually work together at the same time on Google Docs?
I think two of us did it once, but we were in the same room.
Okay, great.
And then there was issues with. It was all in pink and stuff, and couldn't change it, and it wouldn't.
Oh, this is exactly what I mean. So it blocks the section that you're working on normally. Just when you make a space, that is when you give it free to the others to edit. So don't give space, just write it in there. Yeah, okay, but that is a good example. Then you have, I suppose, Dropbox is another typical one. Does anybody work with drawing programs or programming? No? Project management softwares? No? Okay. There are a lot that are where you work on your part and you have to save it, and then it kind of updates into the database. And if somebody worked on a similar sections, then it clashes, and you then see that it just clashes, and you have to edit it. But yeah, so that is basically allowing you to work from different places and work at your own time. So work habit. How did you feel in the Google Docs? Was there like, okay, we work from 7 to 3 time, or how did it work?
Just whenever. We had no
Yeah.
plans, just whenever anybody needed to use the document or refer to it or change it.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. So very much working practice, very flexible. Yeah, and socially you have to wait for your team to contribute, unless you have kind of agreed it otherwise. Was there an imbalance? Did one write too much and another too little, or was one conceptually very rich and the other one too applied? Oh, so this is still live. Yeah? Okay. Hypothetically speaking, is this like a problem you could imagine could happen?
Possibly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there are issues, yeah, because here you have to then rework it. So it's a doubling of work. So implicitly, you are learning automatically about your sub-disciplines work to a degree where it connects. Does that make sense? That is a professional overlap that I was on about. Yeah. We have as well synchronous collaborative technology that allow collaboration in real time. Arguably that is Google Docs, or at least they attempt to do so. We have that with a lot of technologies, where you have design teams changing the design, and then you have an agile manufacturing. You can actually manufacture or build a model of this particular design straight away, and you can then analyze it against other criteria that you may have. So those are things where you actually can synchronize, and I show you examples as well where we have that already in real data. Who has ordered like something tailored for yourself before from Amazon or one of these services? Tailored football shoe from Nike? Sorry, I know it's thin ice. It's the only one that I've seen commercially kind of widely available. Nobody? Football? Have you not designed the shoe? No? Nobody into football too much here. Okay. Yeah, but okay. If you order it, they basically tell you even in the factory where your shoe is, what process it is, and as well when it's actually in the package and when it's at your door, when the postman rings. Yeah. So this is basically synchronized even to the client.
I'm still not 100% clear what the difference is between 1 and 2.
So this is like one that when you say it's finished, you synchronize with the rest. So you take a bit out and nobody knows what you're doing with it. You may have fallen asleep and deleted it by accident. Yeah, nobody knows, quite frankly. There's just this block that is gone.
So say if you send out, like a group email, and people can reply whenever they want to.
Yeah.
Would that be?
Yeah, this could be one. I mean, we can think as well of building an airplane. I think your product. We can think as well of services. So if you have decided in a reception area that you greet everybody straight at the door with a handshake, yeah, and then tell them where their room is, and this guy has gone to toilet, and everybody comes now in and goes to the reception, and it's very rude. Nobody greets us. Hello, I want my key. Yeah, so there's an element in the service missing. Yeah. So this is such a thing. You should then negotiate an alternative. So if he is like not there, okay, going to toilet was a good example. But if he is going now away and changing his greeting strategy, yeah, and then coming back, he may have missed a few clients. So similar with a car, if you have a door, you change the design of the door, it changes the whole frame of the car. As well the balance probably, how the car lies. So it has a systematic knock-on effect. Construction is the same. You change the width of the wall, which I have seen recently, which is hilarious. So it was before, I think it was aesthetically pleasing, but then they realized that statically they just need one brick instead of the 2 bricks, I think, how it was meant to be designed. It may look different. And they clearly didn't communicate it. Does that make sense? So if I change the door, you will need to know as well for your frame, like, oh, I have to change the frame opening.
And you have to be synchronous to do that.
Well, if I change at the moment the door, then it's asynchronous if I send it to you. So just a communication type. Does that make sense? Yeah. So synchronized is basically at the same time, or so small of a time difference that it's difficult to recognize for us. Basically, as soon as I've done it, it synchronizes with the system. Yeah.
So, for instance, meetings.
Mm-hmm. Well, assuming that the information is actually communicated. Yeah. But okay, yeah.
Okay.
So it's synchronized then. That lost me through it. Is synchronized video conferencing, where you're having the meeting, and people are all over the place, and they're responding to you as you talk.
It's an attempt of synchronizing.
Right.
So, again, you would be synchronized in the meeting, but you may try to synchronize asynchronous developments that you have done. So if it's a construction building or a training syllabus, yeah, and before you had like a team meeting first, and then you kind of have like what they technically have to learn, and then you have a practice phase. Now, if the team building guy is not there and has now decided to come in the second week, then it's somewhere in between, but he hasn't told anybody. So then he may have changed his team development thing, because he knows he has already technical skills, so he can do more advanced things. Then he has to phone the other guys to synchronize, but they have to change their design. So they have to go. The first interaction would be basically, hey, I've changed, I can't do what we're doing, you have to change too. Yeah? Whilst when it's synchronized, it comes into the system, it shows conflict, and you don't have the communication going on in between. So it's basically a controlled mechanism that kind of gives you a flag up. We use different things like dashboards, and it flags up red. It doesn't work anymore, failure, or something like that. Yeah? But traditionally you would do it with communication. Yeah? And if you were synchronous, you meet with the team. You know, you do it maybe together.
Right, okay.
Does that make sense?
I think I picked up enough, yeah. Okay, you got it.
So, I mean, the real-time element is the difference, really. I hope that makes sense. Yeah? The assumption associated with the inferred social aspect of CD suggests that social interaction automatically take place, which is, again, I've changed the door, you haven't changed your frame, I come along with my door, just manufactured, and another 100 in the production. We try to fit it and it's not closing. Actually, let's not go into the detail. Yeah, I've seen that example. It was actually, if you're not involved, it's entertaining from afar. But not so entertaining for the team involved, quite frankly. Yeah, but that's a different story. But so the importance is social interaction automatically take place just because an environment make it technological possible, and this is where the loop of kind of control comes in. So what I've said already, we have a lot of sensors that are going actually in the direction to control that and have a feedback. This is often what we are after with technology. Have they actually changed it as well? Is the system integrated? Now, as well, deploying CT, and in particular, I suppose, in a wider sense as well, an information model or technologies that enable you to do so, has as well kind of implications for workforce to succeed in its collaborative capabilities. So you empower them. Yeah? If you as a project manager opt for that and you use it as well as a collaborative technology, and you don't structure it differently, you're kind of empowering your team. So there's a learning journey in this, that people actually develop the understanding, knowledge of how to use it. Yeah. So Zuboff, she was quite critical, also expresses that technology imposes a change in social interaction. We had that already, I'm repeating this here. Therefore, there's a shift in the workforce's social skills. Yeah, and that is the idea of sharing what you're expert in and like implicitly training up everybody in what you're doing, yeah, or what you're knowing. So currently there's a lack of confidence in collaborative technologies enhanced by issues relating to the organization of the construction industry. So this is again, I pick on the construction industry, but this is as well in oil and gas, it's as well in traditional engineering. You would be surprised that they're kind of, the information systems are designed and then the manufacturing is kind of disconnected. They still get the drawings printed for some reason. So we are not as far as we could be. But again, next to that, it's cultural and educational barriers. So there's as well fear, maybe trying things out. Yeah? So it changes the mindset. You have to play around and figure it out till it's actually efficient and effective. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Age will come into that as well.
So you mean like age as in like you don't want to do it?
Yeah, they've been doing things a certain way for a certain length of time. Age does come into the dynamic of change because you need to learn new technologies. I've seen it myself.
I mean, yeah, okay. So we have in certain communities that there's an age as a driver of not wanting to engage with the culture. Yeah,
not one stereotype, but it is. It's a barrier.
age is not, so yes, and maybe in the UK, you know, or as well in Germany, I give you that. But if you go to other places, actually India is a fascinating example. Yeah, we don't see age as an issue. We see actually more access to kind of being able to play around with stuff as things. So there's a different incentivization, I guess. Yeah. Or other way around. There's people just adopt basically because they are forced into it. But there's certainly like a risk with it. And then there's as well barriers relating to existing ICT offers and legal issues. A lot of the existing ICT solutions are very commercial. They are not actually as collaborative as what you often need. So if you have like on your project, I refer again to you because I know your company has Revit. And so if you have Revit and you want to now use a shared Autodesk version with other international ICT providers, yeah, it's copyright, so you have no chance. So it hinders kind of the collaboration straight away. So either you buy for the project as well the Revit license for the other guys, but it means they don't know how to use Revit. So either way, you are running into a dilemma. And Revit being just suppose technical drawing tool that you can interlay with different informations, size, different parts, how they fit together. Then you can attach properties, how much they cost. You can work with fabrics that are actually put in and how much the pricing is, things like that. But this is already advanced. And then you can communicate this way in the design. So it's a little bit like Google Docs. So it synchronizes the sections as you're working on them. And then you can as well play of how you assemble it, who manufactures what they can go then into their manufacturing lines and as well link the data digitally to their machines. But I'll show you that in a second. Yeah. So that is the future. We don't do that too much. But what is the legal issue, do you think? Is there an issue, legal side?
Privacy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's everybody can look into it. Privacy is very little to non-existing. Yeah? So this is a big problem. We have like different legal rights, so copyright and things like that. So with products, gets actually a problem. Yeah? So there are actually new laws for this. We have now. The MIT has basically a new copyright for digital copyright, and it means you have to recognize that this is there and that it's their product, but you can copy it, but you should reference it accordingly. Yeah? And this is more common, especially with those technology, because copyright doesn't make sense anymore. If you change it minimally, you have lost the copyright, so you're incentivizing people to reinvent your stuff and push you out of the market, which is basically on the old model of patenting and copywriting as threat, if that makes sense. Because those technologies make it extremely easy, and there's no doubt about that. Okay, what is a hot topic? So this was an overview. Oh, my communication slides have moved. Okay, but anyway, so why is this actually so interesting at the moment? Now, this comes really from different trends. This is kind of the research on the conference where I was, and it's kind of what is like being pushed at the moment by the government. So those are two kind of streams that you can adapt into project management, and there's actually funding for it if you're interested. Yeah? Or in other words, if you want to start a tech company for project management consultancy or something like that, or work in supply chains of particular projects, those are good topics to have a look into. But it's quite technology heavy. But the irony is what we are looking at is the implementation. So we have a lot of tech companies that have the products already. It's a question of applying it to industries. Does that make sense? So this is project implementation and guiding companies basically through the development process. Yeah. So here we have considering ICT trends, collaborative manufacturing. What is collaborative manufacturing? What do you think that is? Do you have products that are collaboratively manufactured? Yes.
Sony Ericsson.
Yeah, so Sony Ericsson, for example, yeah, it's two companies coming. It's our joint venture idea. Yeah, But they may do parts in different factories, and then they have an assembly plant. Automotive is normally like that, yeah, most of the time as well. And so, or the other, well, this gets a little bit ambiguous. So the keywords alternative would be rapid design manufacturing. So this is when you actually work with the different teams and different specialities, and you kind of put your design together and gets manufactured in a certain place. Does that make sense? Okay, there are a lot of different keywords that kind of refine it on a very fine line, but okay. In a nutshell, collaborative manufacturing is big. It's even big in construction. Yeah, we have the pre-manufactured elements. Here you can order particular concretes. Those are kind of the industries that are really pushing with that at the moment, in construction at least. Has to do as well with connectivity. Yeah, so you can be very accurate, and in a factory floor, it's actually easier to stick to consistent sizing and well, basically kind of detail criteria. And we have become as well more mobile. So we have now as well wonderful things like 3D printing that you can do as well in the back of your house. Yeah? And manufacturing intelligence, we have increased sensoric everywhere we go. It's very cheap sensoric nowadays. Yeah? If you're interested in that, certainly something to adapt. Then we have ICT solutions for factory floor and physical work inclusion. All need to be connected to each other and to be back-end systems and be self-aware of the surrounding environment. So this is the next stage. This is artificial intelligence as well a little bit, what we hope to get. ICT solutions for the next generation. Data storage is the issue with that. So again, it's not, you too, if you're working with police or confidential data, you will have to think of maybe not putting your data in the cloud, but you may want to have your own data storage. Yeah, particularly if you have very confidential data. And as well, with this comes information mining. So we are moving now to integrated models. That means we can work with pictures. Yeah, and there you have to realize how accurate they are versus drawings versus different sensoring data. So heat. Actually, I shouldn't even start like trying to list them. We have a lot of them. And we try to combine them so they are meaningful in the situation where you need them. Yeah. Then further implementing secure, high performance and open manufacturing service platforms, so you can book as well your capacity to manufacture something. Collaborative and decentralized application architectures and development tools. So this is again cool interfaces for your smartphone or whatever app you want to use, tablet maybe. And then as well, we play more with modeling, simulation, and forecasting for integrated product process production system. Then as well, strategically support manufacturing related activities during phases. But I repeat again, this is as well construction and engineering sectors, and it's basically a national strategy. Yeah, similar with technology enablers, I mentioned already a few. So we can actually mass produce now more and more with 3D systems. They become as well faster. We can we have additive manufacturing of custom-made parts. My shoe was an example for that. Yeah, Beckham shoe, where he like stands in front of the crowd and said, "You cannot have my shoe, but make your own shoe." Yeah, so this is possible. I think with watches it's the same, right? Is that not what you can do with the Samsung and iPhone watch? iWatch? Also, sorry, the terminology is weak. But it's the same idea. You can custom make it and I mean just the design. But yeah, this is just the first step. Yeah. Then yeah, automated production of composite structures and products. If you really want to see the future, I really like the idea of helicopters flying it. So they have like little robot helicopters, yeah, that kind of assemble it for you. But I haven't yet found construction companies that are particularly keen on that. Then as well, shaping technologies such as forming and machining. So it's as well companies that can company. It's as well shaping. I've forgotten what that point was about. So it's machines that actually, technologies that build their own machines to kind of solve problems.
No, you have machining is where you have a piece of metal, yeah, and you can have different tool bits which actually design the shape you want from 5 different axes. It comes out of
Yes.
from all different angles.
Yes,
It's machining. It's part of engineering.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and there was one. Actually, I'll say a picture in a second. I should have really brought them one at once. But and then we have as well the mechatronics technologies for advanced manufacturing systems. So here it's control technologies. Again, be careful. Communication doesn't always work with just seeing that you're looking at the right thing. Increasing computational power and intelligence, and continuous monitoring of the condition and performance, introducing autonomous diagnosis capabilities and context awareness. So this is where, when you walk with your iPad, for example, to your site that you're project managing, you get the relevant up-to-date data. So even the one that you're kind of scanning, it's interlinking the data and looking what's right. So the visual data can then contextualize the data that is in your planning, for example. Or your costing tells you that there should be so much of the building, but there's only so much of the building in reality. And that is always when you get slightly worried. Where's the money gone? So, and then as well, intelligent machinery components. So, and I think that is actually the what you described already. I've as well. Oh, okay. So those are the domains, and I mean, I'm particularly interested in the human-centric manufacturing part. But those are the domains that we have like increased research and tech startup domains, and that are as well there for your projects if you want to try them out. They come with money. Yeah. Just to give you a history of this, so this is kind of the revolution how it's sold, at least by the departments. So we had first the Industrial Revolution, then the Second Industrial Revolution. So first one was kind of through the introduction of mechanical production facilities, then division of labor and mass production, and then we had the use of electronic and IT system that further automated production. So this is kind of where we started there, but to be honest, we are probably still there, and we have a medium kind of complexity, and in bits we see now the first stage where you use cyber physical systems. So cyber means control, you're steering with criteria that you set in terms of accuracy. Yeah? And still, the human element is not gone. It's actually the opposite. You have a lot more involvement there, and specialization. Now this is alternative. This is the other one was the German one. This is the English one. They have like done it slightly different. So yeah, but it's again the same ideas. And still, they see it as a tomorrow, but we have it already. So I wanted to show a few prototype. So first application. So this is how it could be. So you have here, for example, wait, where's the customer? You have to here, customer. So field sales. So they tell you what you want. Then it goes to sales and marketing. They kind of realize who are the people that can actually do it for this price. And then it translates to engineering and the design manager. And then you have the external designer, you have agile manufacturing, so they build exactly the amount of numbers that you need. And then it comes back to the manufacturer with the pieces that you can do mainstream. Well, you have the mainstream applications, so they do that as well. And then it gets assembled as well and basically brought to the client. So seamless factory lifecycle, controlling a holistic planning of future factories, predictive coordination. Well, I'll leave you the slide actually if you want. But the move is really with information and communication technologies towards an agile manufacturing system and processes, new seamless factory life, cycle management, people at the forefront, and fostering collaborative supply networks. So this was a little bit what you mentioned. Has a lot to do as well with the supply chain. And then aiming at customer-centric design and manufacturing.
I've heard of agile, but what is it called?
What is that?
Agile, the word?
Agile just means responsive.
Right.
Agility, you know, you are very like, you can respond to the
agile project management courses and things like that.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering what
it's a particular method. So agile project management, we cover that too, and we have a project program and portfolio management a little bit. So it's focusing the project management process on a responsiveness to the customer. So you evaluate regularly the value. Is this kind of producing the product that the customer is after? And it's a learning journey. So it's more focused on This is as well why you see here the arrows. It's closer working with the customer and kind of arriving at something that they really want. Often the customer is as well naive. When you make your first bespoke football shoe, you may have it on then and it's very unique, but you realize I put the particular stripes the wrong way on. My balls don't spin in the right direction or something like that. I imagine that could be an initial problem here. So, okay. Those are the ones that you're probably already aware. We have already product design that then gets delivered. So this is a standard individualization of mass production. So you have the product design input, injection molding. This is another one of the keywords for the new advanced manufacturing. Injection molding is basically you have a 3D printer that has like metal. What is the English term? Metal powder, I guess, in it, and it gets kind of molded in the form or shape you want.
That's the English word, isn't it? Resin.
Resin, yeah, could be. Yeah, I have to look that up. Yeah, but it allows you to basically use a printing method, yeah, and you can do the parts. There are certain problems as well with it, but this is still in the development. And then you have the individualization to what you want. And then it's a packaging, and you can backtrack it the whole way along. Here on your, I think, iPhone. So you need, smartphone will do, or internet, and you will be able to track it. Yeah. Okay. So this was very, very broad, and there are certain issues with it. Don't forget about the communication levels. I run already over time, didn't I? Yeah. Okay, I just leave it with that before I bring anything new. But have a look as well at the data. So if that, so this is a rampage through the history, and it's kind of between the 60s and 80s where this all took place. Yeah? And the collaborative technologies that you have ready for projects to hand, yeah, are very broad. So have a look at them. And pick the ones, and maybe be an entrepreneur too. Bring a few new technologies in. There is a lot of potential for it. Yeah? Okay. We look a little bit at the cases later on in the. Do you have seminars for Alan?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then we are on at 6, isn't it? At least it will be a little bit cooler. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Enjoy, Alan, and I'll see you later on.